Now let's start talking about the products, okay? And we're going to talk about finding products that sell and how the product doesn't actually matter. Because everybody focuses so heavily on the product, but it doesn't actually matter. How many of you have ever bought a product because it was so hyped up that you thought it was amazing and it turned out it sucked? Right? So how many of you guys truly believe that the product matters? It doesn't. It's the marketing that matters. Okay? Now, if you can match the two together, then you're good. That's really great. But the product is not the most important aspect. So again, you can have the best product in the world, but if you don't have a specific plan of attack, then it won't matter how good the product is. So here's what actually makes a successful product. Branding, strategic marketing, multi-channel advertising, product positioning, and mastering your metrics. Notice how nothing in there has anything to do with the actual product, right? So it's all the other pieces that make the product that you sell actually important and actually work, profitable, all the things that you need. So there are 6 rules of product selection, okay? This is how you can quickly, basically the framework that we're going to go through, very simple, very basic, but it's how we are able to evaluate and eliminate products that are not the right fit before we spend any time or money testing them, okay? So, number 1, sell what is already selling. Don't go out and reinvent the wheel. Don't try to go create a new vertical or a new category unless you have the funding to do so. Go out and just sell what's already selling. Find something, find a market that has a need, fill it. Don't compete with name brand products, at least not initially. Okay, don't go out and sell Sony. Okay, everybody else is already selling Sony, and there's a lot of bigger companies out there that can destroy you on the marketing of the other Sony camcorders or whatever else is you're selling. Sell your own products. Do not sell other people's name brand products, because then the only game you can play when you're selling name brand is a price war. That's the only game you can play. It's a race to the bottom. You're selling a commoditized products. So like sticking with Sony, do you know why everybody has the same price on a TV within a couple dollars? Because there's no wiggle room. Their margins are about 10%, okay? There's nowhere to go. And the manufacturer suggested retail is one thing, but they also have MAP pricing, okay? Where they are required to price within a certain range. And if they don't price within that range, they get cut off. All right, so selling name brand products is never the right answer for building your own business that you can control, because you're playing a commoditized game. All right, and trust me, there's always somebody who's willing to cut their price more than you can afford to cut yours. So build a brand, not an income stream. All right, this is another big thing. You want to focus on building out something that's going to be sustainable, long-lasting, and going to be around. The other thing is you need to know your numbers before you start. This is the curse of the entrepreneur or the entrepreneur or the I want to make money online, so I Googled it and now I'm here in Tanner's room, because you don't have the structured training to realize that you need to even know these metrics and numbers, or what numbers you should be knowing before you go out there. You're like, I want to make money, I need a product, I'm going to go sell it. And that can work to some extent, but a lot of times we find out, and most of us have experienced it, that we wind up losing a lot of money because we haven't figured things out. And if you know your numbers before you start, you may not know them exact, but you can do some very, very, very effective educated guesswork to help identify whether things make sense or not. You can't be afraid of competition. After this presentation, I'm going to actually do a case study with you guys on how we choose products and why we don't care about competition. But competition is a sign of money being spent, not that it's a market you shouldn't enter. Okay, everybody's like, oh, go find some small niche market, like cat socks for men, something like that. Too small, right? Not a good market. The only guy here who wears cat socks is a deal. Now, plan on your marketing to make your marketing better to sell your product, not having a better product. Have a great product, that's important too. But your plan of attack should not be, my product speaks for itself, okay? And that's what so many people who have great products do. They're like, I'm not a marketer. I'm a holistic medicine person who with this wonder product. I don't care. Nobody cares. What people care about is what you're going to do for them, and the only way you're going to do that is by conveying effective marketing that sells the product, that then gives them the benefits. Okay, you've all heard the whole sell the sizzle, give them the steak, right? People don't buy a drill bit They buy a whole, right? So you have to position your marketing to get them what they need. Yeah, you may have the best product in the world. You may have Organifi, which is by far the best superfood greens powder out there. At least it tastes good. I can't stand greens powder, so for me to say that, that's a big statement. But the thing is, if you just said, hey, I have the best tasting greens powder, that's not going to convey people to buy it. He's got to have a whole marketing engine behind it to push it. And then once people get it into their hands, then they become product evangelists, and then the product does speak for itself through your customers. But to get to that point requires marketing, okay? So no matter what niche or business you're in, the actual business that you are in is marketing. So Tom is in the laser engraved products business. No, he's not. That's just what he sells. His business should be marketing, because that's what actually is the business. Without that, what he sells doesn't matter. Product selection requirements. Can the product be private labeled? So when you're looking at a manufacturer, when you're trying to source, come up with an idea for a product, can it be private labeled? Meaning, can you put your own brand on it so you're not selling somebody else's product? Okay? Realize that 60% of all products in circulation in a retail store are simply private labeled. Okay? Kirkland, great value, right? What's another one I can't think of right now? Honest Company. Those are just private label brands, okay? All they are a name slapped on a product. Do you guys know that Kirkland vodka is the same vodka that's Grey Goose? So, it's the same bottle, right? You can get Kirkland vodka cheaper, but it's the same exact vodka. Okay, all Costco did was slap their label on it and put it in a bigger bottle, because Costco, you have to buy the jumbo size, right? So, do you think Grey Goose is unhappy that Costco did that and they're selling their exact same product for less? Hell no, it's just it's a volume play. They're making tons of money off of it. But all you gotta understand is putting your label on a product, even though it's the same thing as somebody else may be selling, it's still yours. Who else can sell Kirkland brand vodka? No one, unless they say so, right? So, even though we know Kirkland and Grey Goose are technically the same thing, right? Can you do an apples to apples comparison? No, because they're different, right? So then you can tie your marketing message, your company story, everything around it. So if I'm selling the Tanner-tastic spatula and Betty Crocker has her plain, boring, ordinary spatula that look identical, which one is better? Well, Tanner's is, because it's Tanner-tastic. But they're identical. However, they can't be apples to apples comparison. So if just because her spatula is $7 does not mean mine also has to be $7, because mine is a different brand. So I can wrap my marketing message around that to say, hey, the Tanner-tastic spatula is infused with the essence of Tanner, and now it's worth $14, right? And I'm terrible in the kitchen, so it would be a terrible spatula to buy. But the reality is my marketing message tells the story of why my product can be positioned at a higher price. Now, if I sell Betty Crocker's spatula, and Betty Crocker sells her spatula, and Bed Bath & Beyond sells her spatula, and they sell them all for $7, can I sell mine for $14? Nope. Because how many of you guys see a product and you look on Amazon to see if you can get it cheaper? Yeah, all the time, right? So if it's your product, though, the only place they can buy it is from you, even if you're available in multiple channels. So the Tanner-tastic spatula they can buy off tannertastic.com, they can buy it on Amazon, and maybe there's different prices. But guess who owns it? Me. So they can go to my store, or they can buy it from me on Amazon, but it's still me, so I control the market fluctuation and the market pricing. This is how you build a brand. Can it be sourced in small and large quantities? Small. Why? Because when you're starting out, you don't want to have to overinvest in inventory. Okay, that sucks. Large, because if it does work, you need to be able to get it in larger quantities. Because what sucks more than overinvesting in inventory is having a killer product and then not being able to get the product to fulfill demand. That really sucks. Is it in demand? Do people actually want it? Okay, are people already buying it? Are they spending money on it? Can it be sold for at least $25? Why? Because you want to make money, okay? Not pennies. You need to have dollars in your pocket at the end of the transaction. That allows for that. A $25 product with a high margin, roughly a 60% gross margin is your ideal goal, so that you wind up with a 40% or 35% gross, and then when you wind up at your net, you're still in the 25 to 30% range. Is of moderate to high quality. Okay, don't sell crap unless it's a crap bag, then it's okay. But if you're selling crap products, you can't build a brand, you can't build an ongoing customer loyalty type thing. But if you're selling a moderate to high quality product that delivers the value that it says it does and it works the way it's supposed to, you can be good. You don't have to have the best product in the world, okay? Think about a lot of the stuff you use on a daily basis. You bought it and you're happy with it, it does what it's supposed to do, but it may not be the best absolute product in the world of that type. You don't care. Generally, people don't care, okay? So as long as it works as advertised, and the additional point here is that moderate of high quality, you have less defect rate, because all products have a defect rate, right? A percentage of them that are unsellable, come back broken, arrive broken, damaged, whatever. The higher this is on the quality side, the less you have to worry about that, and the less returns you have to deal with, because returns suck. Most people don't realize how much returns can actually eat into your profit margin. And especially when you have wonderful customers, because while the customer may always be right, they're never right, they also are some of the customers, especially at the lower price points, are the scuzziest people you will ever deal with on the planet. Okay, and I'm sorry, it's the truth. Everybody's gonna say, oh, love your customer. Yeah, love your customer, but wait till they just stab you in the back because they open the product, they use it, they put it back in, they tape it up, and they say, it was never delivered, and they return to sender and have you pay a COD fee to receive it back. That happens all the time, okay? And then whatever facility's doing your shit, you're nodding because you've had to deal with it, huh? Yeah, oh, it's insane. And then you also, if you have a fulfillment company, they have to charge you a return fee to process it. And like in our kitchen brand, this is something we had no idea getting into because we weren't in the kitchen space before. Guess what? With food items, it's not like I can just throw it back on the shelf and resend it. What if somebody has an allergy and the person that we sold it to the first time who returned it used a nut on it? Or something like that, right? It has to be sterilized and all this shit has to happen. They were like, so these are things you don't think about, but you want to think about, okay? So the higher the quality issue, you're gonna have less returns from your quality customers that are dealing with broken stuff, okay, or damaged stuff. And then you also have a less issue with having to reships, where you have to ship out a replacement part or things like that. Lightweight. Dan, why do we need it to be lightweight? Because FedEx will rape you on shipping otherwise. Yeah, so that's the other thing. It needs to be lightweight. Why? Because shipping costs money, all right? And it's going to start costing a lot more money. What he's alluding to is how FedEx, UPS, I don't know if Postal will ever do it. They're going to, everything's eventually switching over to a dim weight, which is dimensional weight, which if you want to hear how mind-numbingly painful it is to hear it, you can ask him later, but it's basically a thing that weighs 5 pounds. If it's dimensionally big, the dimensional weight will be significantly higher than the 5 pounds. So it will cost you significantly more to ship. And this is 100% thanks to Amazon, right? Can we explain that? Yeah, sure, go ahead. So we all buy jump drive or pins. Actually, come over here. Is this working, Steve? Yeah. It's already up here. So this is Dan Kraft, guys. I just texted him and was like, hey, you want to come? So he's here.
So we all buy jump drives, pins, things of this size, but they ship them in a box the size of a shoebox. And FedEx, UPS, USPS has been talking to Amazon for years to get them to put them in an envelope or a padded pack or something, and they didn't. Well, you're now paying for the space that it's taking up, basically. And what happens is, with the green initiative and everything else, we have we're pulling 5 trailers instead of just 2. So there's labor, there's space, there's, like
fuel.
I said, the green initiative, the big thing is that. So if you can cut down on your packaging, I mean, FedEx, UPS, we have the service where our, sorry, there's a glare. Now I can't see anything, but we have services that you can go and you can do package testing. Package engineers, they'll come out and they'll look at all your stuff and say, okay, this is your best packaging for this. So I'm not going to sell FedEx, but both companies have that service. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer it.
And he's a regional guy, but he can always put you in touch with the person in your area that can actually help you.
Right.
Cool. Thanks. So give Dan a round of applause. So the dim weight thing is going to be a serious issue. So it's not just lightweight anymore. It's also package size. So you may be shipping a pillow, but if your pillow can't compress something like small, you're going to be paying like it was a big package. Okay. So have you guys ever seen like mattress? Who's ordered a mattress online? It comes rolled up like a cigar, right? Yeah, I mean it's like our king size mattress that we ordered was probably in a tube about that big, right? Why? Because again, it's a dim weight thing. They're trying to make it better to ship. Okay, durable and not prone to breakage. Okay, this is again goes into the moderate to high quality thing. Why? There's a lot of shipping that has to happen. If you're manufacturers in China, it has to be shipped to the U.S. or to wherever your country or wherever it's going to go. So there's a breakage point there. Then it has to be stored in a warehouse. Then if you've ever been inside a warehouse, things break in a warehouse. Okay, because you have some of the brightest people in the world working in warehouses, and they take care of your stuff. And then from there, it has to be shipped to the customer. And we all know how carefully people deal with your stuff in the mail, right? Who's ever worked for like a FedEx or a UPS? So I used to work for UPS. You worked for FedEx before, right? I think, yeah. So I used to work for UPS. And the Christmas time rush, I worked at the gateway at the airport, so I was loading air cans. Okay, so we have 30 or 40,000 packages coming through in a 3-hour period, and you have to build these walls and these air cans to keep everything stacked. Well, how do you build a wall? Well, you build it tight, and then if you have an opening, you find a box that's bigger, and you jam that sucker in there, right? And then you kick it, and you do whatever else you have to do. That's what you do. So packages get beat up, all right? Now, that's obviously not the ideal thing, but stuff like that happens. So the point is you're going to have breakage at multiple points of your product. The more fragile it is, like if you're selling some kind of crystal or a vase or something like that, you got to be really careful. You're going to have to talk to one of their box engineers that will come out and say, hey, here's how you can help you with this so that it doesn't break when it arrives. And then ideally you can take that and have it done at the manufacturing point in China or Indonesia or wherever it is and have it packaged that way from the get-go. Not bulky or large, again, going back to the dim weight size thing. Also, Amazon charges by the cubic foot, how much is the footprint that it takes up for storage. Most fulfillment places, including ours, also charge for storage fees, right? Because it takes up space in the warehouse that could be devoted to another product. The lower the sales rate of your product, meaning the longer the turnover period, the higher your storage fees are going to be. The more of the footprint you take up, the more it's going to cost you, okay? Consumable, if at all possible, if you can have consumable products, it's awesome. Why? Because people have to buy them again, right? And there's an asterisk there because not every category or product lends itself to consumable products, so it's not a requirement, it's just nice to have. And then it has to have the potential for you to sell other complementary products. It can't be a one and done product. Once they buy this one thing from you, they never need to buy anything from you ever again. If you find yourself in a category like that, find another category. Unless you make about $1 million or $1 billion per sale. Anything less than that, I would find another category. So some goals. Product selection goals. You don't need a ton of products. We talked about this. 2 to 3 products. Why 3 products? Your goal is to find 2 front-end products. 2 products that have a high turnover rate. They sell well. And then 1 profit maximizer. That way you can legitimately, with 3 products, run 3 funnels. Or excuse me, you could run 3, but ideally you're going to run 2. 2 front ends, product A and product B each have their own funnel, and then the other 2 products form the upsells in the funnel. One's a profit maximizer, and then the other front end becomes the second upsell to that funnel. Does that make sense? So product 1, I don't know if I have it drawn out, I don't. So funnel 1 is product A, upsell product C, which is the profit maximizer, upsell product B. The other funnel is product B on the front end, upsell product C, profit maximizer, upsell product A, other front end, right? 2 funnels, completely dialed out with 3 products. Simple. Okay? Again, high margin profit maximizer. How do you find these ideas? Tons of ways to do that. We're not going to go into a ton of it here. What I want to cover here, though, is that it's not magic. Okay? This is the part that sucks. Not going to lie. It's the hardest part of the entire business. And it's the number 1 complaint, number 1 sticking point in any program, coaching, academy, mentoring, anything, info product-based, training, live event, whatever. It's the number 1 sticking point for everybody. Finding the product sucks. Okay, it's hard. It's why print on demand is so popular. It's time consuming. It's labor intensive. There's a million possibilities and there's no way to shortcut it or cheat. The problem is that because of the internet and all these loopholes and quick tactics and all this, BS going around there, we're so conditioned to want to shortcut and cheat and get our way up there that we don't want to put in the actual work that it takes to find a product, which is why we settle for selling something that we probably shouldn't be selling, and we wonder why it's not working. And nobody can tell you exactly which product to sell, which is, in my case, is the number 1 thing I get. Why don't you just tell me what to sell? Or, hey, is this the product I should sell? Have you tested it? Well, come on, just tell. I don't know. Do you have any metrics? Like, Steve can come up to me and say, hey, which of these 2 products should I sell? And I could give him my very best guess, and it could be more than likely wrong. Because until he has data for me to interpret, I can't give a value. It's literally me just, that one, right? I have no idea. But people don't like that. So this is why finding products sucks. So just know that going in. It's going to suck, but you have to do it if you want to succeed. You have to find the products. I'm that guy, possibly why you're in the room, is I'm not the guy who will sugarcoat shit for you. If it sucks, I will tell you it sucks. If you hate it, I will tell you you will hate it. I'm not going to butter you up and tell you how awesome it is and how the world is so amazing you never have to work to find a product. Because it's not true. This is the hard part, okay? But it's not so hard that you can't do it. It just takes time, okay? And you have to be willing to focus on it. And it's just how many people have ever sold door to door? Okay, if you haven't, go start selling door to door. It's a great way to actually learn what it takes to succeed in life. Because you're going to get no's, right? And now you get so many more no's than you even used to before. But the reality is, the more no's you get, the sooner you're going to get to a yes. That's the whole point, right? Same thing with products. We have people who are like, I tried to validate 10 products. I haven't found one yet. Okay. Why didn't you validate 11 or 12? So what if it took Steve 15 products to find one that sold really well or 3 that sold really well, but it took Patrick 40? Does it really matter? No, but it's going to differ because their niches are completely different. Things are different. It's going to take you whatever time it takes you, okay? So I'm beating a dead horse here, but the reason I'm doing this is I want you guys to not let this hang you up, okay? Because it's always the thing that everybody will build the funnels, they'll do all the other pieces, but then they get stuck on the product aspect. So you want to choose the market first. You got to start your research somewhere, so this makes it easier. We're not going to start with what product do I sell? We're going to find what market do I want to serve. So ideally, you want to serve the bigger markets, okay? Why? Because you want places that already have tons of traffic abundantly available that you can acquire cheaply for paid traffic. And of course, Facebook ads are one of our best traffic sources. So anything that you want to sell, make sure you can sell it on Facebook, okay? So supplements, you're out. Unless you're in one category. If you're in my niche, guns, you're out. They hate guns. So we have to get really creative. Don't make it harder on yourself, especially if you're just starting out. Try to sell in a product that you can't sell through your number 1 traffic source, okay? So big niches, dating and relationships, health and wellness, money and business, sports and outdoors, hobbies and leisure, okay? That covers practically every market. So it's not like I'm limiting you to only certain things. okay? But if you're in any of these categories, even peripherally, you will be able to find tons of traffic, providing that it's an in-demand product. And do not go for generic products or categories. The Snuggie, the Chia Pet, the Pet Rock. Why? Steve, who do you target to sell the Pet Rock to on Facebook? What's your targeting? Rock lovers? I mean, how do you narrow that down? What's the age range? What's the income threshold? What credit? Like, you can't do any kind of legitimate targeting, right? I mean, honestly, the best targeting someone ever found for the Snuggie was cannabis. That was the number one converting target. It was the only thing that converted. They could really lock it in on was cannabis. Why? Potheads like to sit on the couch, wrap up in a blanket, got the hoodie on, they feel good. Okay, but it converted like crazy. Okay, but you want to buy laser targeted traffic. And to be able to target your traffic, you need to have a specific market. So a generic market does not serve your purposes. Don't make life harder on yourself than it has to be. Start browsing. There's 4 main browsing sources for finding products. Amazon.com. Obviously, this is the most common, right? You can look on Amazon for products. You can go to their bestseller list, go down categorically, do searches by the niche, do searches by the product type, look at related categories, and just start seeing what's going up. The best way to do this is to not go with a specific plan. Have a niche, type in a niche or a keyword, and just see where it takes you. Some of the best products we've ever found and we've ever started selling or private labeling or spin-offs or whatever have been off of these just random searches, not because we were after a specific thing. Okay, because this way we're letting the market and the research dictate what we find, and we're not, trying to force it, a square peg into a round hole. eBay. eBay is great for looking at products that are just random or one-offs or things that are on wholesale and stuff like that. Let's see if I can keep this voice going for you guys a little bit longer. One sec. Okay. Niche-specific e-tailers. Okay, if you're in a category like REI or babies, go to these niche-specific retailers that have products that are category-specific to what you're looking for. They're going to have a lot of those deeper niche categories that you would not necessarily find anywhere else. You can do things like Wayfair and stuff like that too to find even more crazy stuff. So, I mean, anything can be found. We actually found, my wife found, through Wayfair, we were looking for designs to build a bridge. In our backyard, we have a dry creek. She wants to build a bridge over the dry creek because you can't walk around it, apparently. So she wants to build this bridge. Well, Wayfair, we were able to connect with a manufacturer on Wayfair that makes 8-foot bridge kits in all these different designs. And they drop ship from the States. And guess what's a humongous search term that I didn't know about? Bridges, like garden bridges, things like that. So we're actually talking with them right now. I did buy a bridge first, and it came in 2 shipping boxes, came freight. It was $300. It would cost me more to buy the lumber just with the plans to do that, okay? So you can find stuff randomly, right? And that's usually the best way to do it. Alibaba, all right? This is the curse and the boon of all of us. It's a curse because there's so much, and it's not regulated. And it's a boon because there's so much, and it's not regulated. It's amazing, okay? But it's also a pain in the ass because you got to wade through so much crap. But guess what? Business isn't easy, right? You got to take the time. Alibaba, you want to find something? Again, take your category, search it. See what pops up. If you have a specific product, search that. Go deep. Let it just see where it takes you and start figuring things out. You have to start browsing somewhere, okay? It doesn't matter how you find the products, though. What's important is that you find lots of potential or interesting products that can be evaluated. Because right now, we're trying to generate a list that we can start eliminating from. Right now, we're not trying to find the winner. We're trying to find the losers. So we can get them off our list so we don't spend any time wasting any more time on them. Because what happens otherwise, if you try to find the winner, you wind up focusing on losers because you're trying so hard to find the winner. It sounds stupid, but it's really the way it works. So you create a potentials list, making a list of all the products that you find that you think are worth looking into further. It could be in multiple niches, it could be multiple categories, it might just be in one, whatever. So you want to include things like on this list, and seriously, it could be on white paper, it could be in a notepad, it could be in Excel. I like Excel because it's easier to keep things separate. Name of the product, URL to the product where you found it, who's selling it, any notes you want to make, and a rating system. This is something that I do. Not everybody does that. I just put like stars next to it for how excited I am by the product, 1 to 4. Just so when I have a list like this, I can easily go through and see what I want to look at first. So I'd prefer to do it on a spreadsheet. Don't stop until you have like 15 or 20 products, because what's going to happen is when we evaluate, you're going to eliminate almost all of them, if not all of them. So how do we evaluate? The fastest and best way to evaluate your list of products is to put them through a multi-phase evaluation process. This ensures that you don't waste a lot of time evaluating loser products or testing ads on loser products. The phases. The first phase is a yes/no question phase. There's like 7 questions. If they fail any question, you throw it out. It's the fastest way to eliminate a ton of products. Phase 2 is competitor research. Very simple, very light. Phase 3 is brand and positioning considerations. And phase 4 is metrics calculation. So the yes/no series. This is the phase 1, the simplest way to eliminate a lot of stuff off your list. So you look at each product and you answer the following questions in order. Does it have private label potential? The answer that the question must have is on the screen. Okay, so if this is a no, that means that product does not fit and you ignore it from now on, right? Can it be sourced for at least $25? Has to be answered yes as well. Will it be expensive to ship? No. That's the only no question. Everything else has to be a yes. But if any one of these questions, as you're going down, it fails, you stop. You don't ask the rest of the questions. Okay, you're done. Move on. Is it durable and not prone to breakage? Should be a yes. Is it in a Facebook allowed category? This has to be a hell yes. Okay, really serious, oh my God, yes, unequivocally, yes, it's going to be able to be advertised. Otherwise, you're going to have a tough time getting started with traffic. And is there potential for you to sell other complementary products within that market to the same buyer later? If the product fails any question, toss it. Get it off your list. So this phase will eliminate 75 to 80% or more of your products. So for those of you Academy members in here, how many of you guys have had it eliminate 100% of your products before? Okay, a couple of you? Yeah, it sucks, right? You get this list and you're like, well, shit. But wouldn't you rather have those eliminated than go back and have to spend money on them later? Absolutely. So if none of your products pass the phase 1, then go back to the drawing board and find some other products. It just happens. So before proceeding to phase 2, you should have at least 3 different products worth evaluating. If you don't go on. Don't try to shortcut the process. Find the products, because we're still not done eliminating. So if you only have 1 to advance and we keep structuring down, you're going to wind up maybe with nothing. So next, we're going to do the light competitor research. Because we don't have any sales data and we don't want to acquire any sales data, we don't want to spend any money, we have to do some competitor research to see what we can figure out about the validity of this product. We want to evaluate their sales potential without actually trying to sell it. So since we're not selling the product, we look at surface level views of the competition. This is not an exact science, not at all. It's guesstimation and evaluation based off the data that you have readily available to you. We want to get the most data possible in order to make the most educated guess that we can. So first thing we do is search traffic. We determine the top 5 product search terms and traffic numbers for each term. Merchantwords.com is my favorite way to use this. You can get us, if you Google Merchant Words coupon, it's $30 a month, but you can get it for like $9 if you do the coupon thingy. Someone in the Academy actually told me that. I pay $30 and they pay $9, so now I'm canceling my subscription. So Merchant Words or Amazon Google Keyword Planner. So Merchant Words actually pulls all the buyer keyword data from Amazon. It's not real-time updated, but it's very, very close. So the thing about Amazon search traffic that's different from Google search traffic is Amazon search traffic is all buyer traffic. So it's higher weighted towards what we want to look at, right? So if there's a lot of people searching a product on Amazon, and there's a lot of, and maybe not as many on Google, it's okay, because all the people on Amazon are buyers. merchant words lets you see what that data looks like. So the more searches, the better. The more traffic, the better, obviously. But a minimum, the top 5 keywords should combined equal over 10,000 searches a month. Anything less than that, and I wouldn't even look at it because you're probably in a category where traffic is too light. Okay, because again, Amazon is what percentage of global e-commerce? 1. So that's 10,000 global searches. If they're only 1%, means, if it's too low, you're really not getting a very big audience, right? So we want to make sure that we have a high search volume here so that we know that it's high everywhere. Does that make sense? So we determine the top 3 to 5 competitors on Amazon based on page 1 rankings for the top 5 keywords. So if we have 5 keywords, that means we're doing 5 searches, right? And we're going to take the top 3 to 5 competitors off of each search. What you should find, is that there's a lot of overlap. Usually the same competitors are going to rank for more than one keyword, the top 5. So you really will only wind up possibly with maybe 8 or 9 total competitors out of 5 searches, 5 competitors each. In a spreadsheet, you want to copy down the following information: the URL to the product listing so you can go back and check it out, the price they're selling it for, their bestseller rank or their BSR in their top level category, not the subcategories, okay? Those are vanity metrics. Those don't mean anything, okay, for our purposes. And the number of reviews and the average review rating, star rating. Okay, so this is what it kind of looks like. So we've got a product in the home improvement category. This is all the same exact type of product, just 4 competitors. And you can see the price from $14 to $19, or $22 actually. You can see the bestseller rank, it varies. What you're looking for here is a number of different factors. Number 1, we want to see the number of reviews. We want to see that there's a lot of reviews, because that means only a small fraction of people actually ever leave reviews, so the sales volume is significantly higher. The lower the BSR, the more sales volume it has. So that's an indicator of high sales growth. The price point. Does the price point range of the top competitors fall within the category that you're willing to sell in? Okay? Like, let's say you're like, I'm going to sell this product for $20, but down here in the kitchen and dining, the most expensive product's $12. Maybe you're not going to fit, right? So this will allow you to check this stuff out. Also, one of the things I love about the review rating system is I love to find a category where there's 5 to 8 competitors, and they all have shitty reviews. Lots and lots of them. Why? Because the product is selling in spite of the crappy product. So if I can come along and find a higher quality manufactured product, or if I can improve the product in some way, a better mousetrap, if you will, higher quality plastic, better packaging, see what the complaints are and see if it's an easy fix. A lot of times it is something super easy, because a lot of the stuff coming from China is not QC'd. So if you add a QC process with your manufacturer, you may wind up with a better product without having to do anything else. And then you've addressed, the people are still buying it, the sales volume is still huge, but now you've realized that you've got a product that's a little bit better, you can do better on Amazon, you can do better also through your funnels. So that's a little hack that I like to do in terms of the review thing. I love seeing poor reviews for a product.
So how did these products make it to phase 2 if the phase 1 was that they had to sell for these 25?
So this example does not make the criteria. The reason I'm using it here is because this is what most people's products are. Categorically, we find people are usually under that $25 range, but when we look at products, we don't want it to be. So I should probably clear that up in future slides, but I've always taught it this way because this is what people actually see when they're looking at products. And if you look at the Academy members, almost everything is in this $20 range. So, and this is what you see usually on Amazon more often. So you're looking for variety and price points. It's good to see high and low prices. The more swing in a category, the better.
When you're pricing your funnel versus Amazon, are you looking for the same price point, or do you find to get a percentage more?
We can usually go a 30 to 40% more than on Amazon.
When you're evaluating then, are you evaluating based on that price point within your funnel that you plan to do, or based on what you're seeing?
Good question. So since we don't have any data yet, we're just extrapolating and trying to find stuff, right? We're going to go with what it's selling for on Amazon, because and then we go, okay, if it's selling for $14 on Amazon, and we're driving direct Facebook ads, we can probably sell it for 21, 23, 25, something like that. But we're going to start with that Amazon price point. As we go through further in the research, we start looking at what we're actually going to pay for the product, if it meets the validation. And if we can't make it work at this price, that's our first flag indicator that we need to make sure it's okay.
Right, okay. So even if you're selling on Amazon under your brand, you're going to try to price higher.
Absolutely. Yeah. 40%. So the rifle sights, right? You guys all have seen that example if you read the book or looked at any of my other stuff. The reason we crushed that category was there was a high and low. There was crap China and there was high-end American. There was nothing in between. We found a nice in-between place where we could come in there and be like a mid-price point thing with high quality, way better than China, but not quite the US $400 price point. And people went nuts. Okay, so if you can find a way to be that savior in the marketplace, people will reward it. 75% or more of the product should be above the 10,000 bestseller rank. And by above, I mean technically below, right? So they need to be 10,000 or less because it's a reverse scale. Number 1 is the best, 10,000 would be in the worst kind of thing. So you want them to be higher than that because that means there's getting significant sales. Either consistent average review ratings or very poor ratings. You don't want to see a huge swing all over the place. You want to see everybody has a crappy product or everybody has a pretty average product, right? If you see crazy swings, you need to dig a little deeper and see what those swings are for. Why does one company have it worse than the other company? It could all be marketing. But the cool thing about Amazon is the review process will tell you that if you look at all the bad reviews.
What if you have consistently great reviews, like 4.8, 4.9?
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Consistently average, meaning the average across all of them is consistent. Brand and positioning for phase 3. 6 considerations to building a brand. Number 1, can it be a leader? Now, do you want it to be a leader? What is your purpose with this product? Okay, there has to be an end goal. Okay? Does it lend itself to expansion? The product line, not a solo product. Can you expand? If it starts selling well, like with Kenny, when they start selling their kinesiology tape through Barbend, does it allow them to expand into other product lines easily, or does it keep them pigeonholed? And is that okay, or what are their end goals? You got to consider these kind of things because that's going to be how you position your brand. Is it in demand? Do people actually want it? Where do you see the sales of this product and the potential of this market in 2 years? Is this a trend that you're hopping that's going to burn out? Is it a t-shirt that's a Trump t-shirt that nobody's going to care about in 3 years? Or in 5 months or even 2 weeks? Or is it something that you're going to build into something long term? Because a lot of people are like, I'll be selling this forever. And then they realize that if they had actually thought about it, there's new regulations coming out about, like right now the big up in the air thing is CBDs, right? Cannabidiol oil. Cannabidiol infused products. They're legal in all 50 states right now because it's a gray area. What's going to happen? So you got to be considering this, right? What image can this brand have? Does it fit with what you're going for, and does it fit the product and the market? Okay? If you want to sell a high-end brand, but your market is not a high-end market, and the product doesn't fit, there's some disconnects there. Anytime you have a disconnect, your conversion rate drops. Okay? So the idea is to eliminate any kind of disconnect that can happen in all of your brand messaging and all of your positioning. And if you can do this at the beginning, because a lot of times you may settle on a product that doesn't fit where you're going or where it should be. Is this something you are proud of? Okay, this isn't, to be totally honest, I didn't used to care about this aspect of it until I realized that I was selling, there were some products that I was selling that I didn't want anybody else to know I was selling. And not on an ethical portion, but more on a embarrassment thing. Like, I'm not going to go tell my grandma that we were selling the dildos in the background, right? So Dio was he had a big sex toy thing on Amazon, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want to sell those, just because I'm not going to tell my daughter that I'm selling sex toys, right? That's just not me. So I don't want to build a brand or put effort into something that I can't tell people about. If it's a closet business, you'll never ask for help, so you'll never get anywhere. okay? And I have really good friends of mine that came from the adult industry that left it specifically because they're like, they started a family. They're like, this does not fit with the life I want to build, which is why you need to be considering what kind of lifestyle you want with what you're building, okay? It doesn't have to just be adult. It could be, with the, cannabis, stuff like that. CBD may be hot, but if you morally don't align with that, don't sell it just because it's hot. Because you're going to basically sabotage yourself, and you're never going to want to talk about it. You're never going to want to help. So make sure that it's something that you're proud of, or that you would put your name on it. That's the way I look at it. Would you be willing to put your name on it? And if not, then why are you selling it? So positioning, few key considerations to positioning. What does it solve for your market? Does it solve anything? Ask yourself that, write it down. Don't just brain dump it. See if there's anything that pops up at you that's interesting. What is your competitive advantage? There must be a competitive advantage, okay? Even if you're both selling spatulas, you have to have a competitive advantage that makes you differentiate somehow. The crazy thing is people are like, man, I don't have any competitive advantage. You know what the easiest competitive advantage to engineer into a product is? Color. If everybody is selling a black one, sell a pink one. You guys have all heard me talk about the silicone baking glove example, right? I talk about it in my book. I talk about it on webinars. So on Amazon, back in the FBA craze with all the launches, one of the products people taught was silicone baking or barbecue gloves, or those mitts that you put on. They're bright orange, pebbly looking mitts. Well, at the time they were teaching it, it was a hot item, and there was maybe 3 people selling them on Amazon. If you go type that in today, you'll see probably 5,000 people selling them, all the exact same product. It killed that whole market because it was just became so commoditized. Then somebody came in and started offering them in black and camouflage. Blew it back up. Anything different? No, just a different color. That's their competitive advantage. Now, can someone else duplicate it? Yes. And have they? Yes. But it doesn't have to be something like an engineering thing or something better. It just has to be different, something that allows you to stand out. What are the acceptable price points and where do you want to be? If you want to sell a product, if your thing is like, hey, I know that my market is, I'm going to spend about $15 in acquisition, but the product you're looking at is a $15 product, you've got a problem there. So maybe just stop right there or figure out how can you bundle it? What can you do to make it work? Is the price congruent with the quality, benefits, and results of the product? Are your costs on this product so high, but the product quality isn't high enough to justify it, and the results that it gives to the user or to the person not worth what the price you would have to charge for it, okay? Remember, you're not selling to clicks, you're selling to people. So you actually have to remember that it's an actual person buying your product. Is it congruent? How will it be presented? How are you going to sell it? Are you going to be a bargain basement offer? Are you going to be this professional thing? Are you going to be like the boy next door? Are you going to be like the lemonade stand type thing? What are you going to do? How are you going to sell it? How do you want to present it to your customer? What is your sales message, vehicle, and feel going to be like? So in this case, this encompasses things like packaging, photos, copy, logo, graphics. All that kind of stuff comes into putting this all together. Okay, examples are going to be in the next presentation. So that brings us to phase 4, which is the metrics calculation. Okay, so we've completed the first 2. You need to know your numbers before you start, right? This is where we've done all this basic research, okay? We need to know our goals of what we're trying to achieve. The goal cannot be to sell product or make money. Those are not goals. Those are just statements. You need to actually map it out. I want to sell this CBD infused chapstick, and I want to sell 10,000 units a month and make this much money. Or I want to make this much money, I'm going to reverse engineer my way to figure out how many units I have to sell to do that. You need to have a goal, okay? Because the only way to map out if the product will actually help you get there is if you know what that goal is. And you need to know your costs and other metrics prior to actually selling the product so that you can make sure that there are no areas that don't work. So many people start selling something, and then they find out that they're not making any money, okay? So a lot of you guys know Ricky Mateka. Ricky's a good friend of mine. Phenomenal marketer. Came to me a few months ago, and he's going to hate me for telling this because I've already told it a couple of times though, so it's okay. He has a t-shirt line. He was selling ridiculously well on his t-shirt line. They were doing awesome. And he got his bill from the print-on-demand company, and he's like, dude, this doesn't work. And he's yelling at his team, he's all upset. And I'm like, let me see what's going on. So I took his numbers and I plugged them into my stuff and I did the math and I go, bro, you didn't account for your merchant fees. You didn't account for your merchant fees, you also didn't account for your return costs or one other cost. And basically, what he thought was profit was actually losing him $5,000 a week. Okay? And guess what? He's not unique in that. This is a veteran who actually knows what he's doing and has built many successful businesses. He's not alone in that. Okay? A lot of people screw up like this. I screw up like this. But if you do this in the beginning, if you had mapped this out before, you would know 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction, or if you're a high risk, it's even higher, you would know that, oh man, my merchant costs are going to be about another 5% of my sales. I would know that before I go into it. Okay, so you would see these holes, and when you do the calculation, all of a sudden you'd be like, I'm negative, and I haven't sold anything yet. So now you can fix it before you lose a bunch of money. So you make your business a math problem, and then all you have to do is learn how to solve it. And you start by doing what we call the big, right? The business income goal. What is the goal of your business income-wise? Okay? And then it just becomes a math. This is the problem, the equal sign, and then you figure out the calculation over here, right? So some key considerations in your metrics that you need to figure out are your costs. Product, shipping, fulfillment, advertising, customs and duties, merchant fees, overhead. Then your sales metrics, retail, gross profit, net profit, unit turnover as it pertains to your goals, inventory lead time. Now, since you haven't sold this product before, do you have all this data? No, but you can get a bunch of it, and you can get close to it, and you can play with some educated guesswork on the numbers that you can't get accurate numbers on. But product cost, you can get that. You can talk to the manufacturer. Shipping and fulfillment, you can get that. You can talk to the manufacturer. You can talk to the customs duties, or you can look up online and you can find out what your customs percentage would be for your duty rate per item. Merchant fees, if you're using Shopify or Stripe or ClickFunnels or whatever, that's all published. If you have a merchant account, you know what those rates are. Those are published. Overhead, if you don't know how to calculate your overhead, we won't even get into that. Basically, that's how much it costs to run your business, so you should hopefully know that. Sales metrics, retail price, well, that's one we're going to be playing with a little bit, right? We're going to be taking the market pricing, figuring out what we think we can sell it for, using that as our price point and plugging all the metrics in to see what happens. And then we can adjust that. Gross profit margin, net profit margin, all of that is calculated based on the other numbers that we already have. Okay, so you can get really close. Is it perfect? No. Is it better than taking a shot in the dark? Hell yeah. Okay, inventory lead time, production timelines. When you start selling product, it is not the same as wholesaling, okay? Or, hey, I sold 4 today, can you ship me 4 more? It doesn't work that way. You have a production window. You have to set aside raw materials. They have to produce it. They have to put you in line behind what other orders they already have in production. Okay, so in our kitchen brand, our average product has a 60-day production timeline. Okay, so, okay, that's cool, right? 60 days, so we can plan for that. What did I not factor in? Shipping. What's ocean shipping take? 3 weeks on the water, on average. What about port? 72 hours minimum in the port. And if it's a 20-foot container, then it's maybe a week, because 20-foot containers have less priority over the 40-foot containers, which get unloaded first. So there's all this stuff that you need to know, right? Now, how do you learn these things? You pick up the phone and you ask, right? You can learn these things, right? So when they tell me that I have a 60-day lead time, is it actually 60 days? No, it's closer to 90, right? So I need to factor that in so that 90 days from now, I don't run out of inventory and have to wait 90 more days to get inventory. Okay, so you have to think about this stuff. Even if you're doing print on demand, even if you're doing drop shipping, especially if you're doing drop shipping, you can't trust the manufacturer to just have 10,000 items sitting there waiting for you to sell it. Oh, I'm going to scale my ads today. Just hold that product for me. Yeah, right? They may only have 10 in stock, and it's not their job to tell you that they only have 10 in stock when you turn your ads on and all of a sudden sell 300. It's not their job. So you need to think these things through, and you can find out that you can ask companies, what's your production window? What's your turnover? For this product, how many of these items can you produce in a year, in a month, in a week? What capacity are you at manufacturing-wise right now? Are you already tapped out, or do you have room to grow? These are things you want to consider. Now, if you're just starting out, are they critical? No, but wouldn't you like to know before you get into something, if this product that you put all this time and money into developing, that it's actually going to be able to sell for you later on? Like, oh, you know what? Sorry, we're tapped out. You're not our biggest customer, so we can't give you any more manufacturing time. So you're capped out at selling whatever we can push out for you. That would suck, right? So you want to think these things through. Okay, Adil, Argan oil. Adil and I were going to do this together, and these metrics is how I told him no. Yeah. Okay, and now these examples, I'm using Amazon merchant pricing here as an example in these examples. So they're higher. I'll show you what I mean. So Argan oil, what was this? A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when it was hot? 2 years ago, it was super hot. And Adil, because he's Moroccan, he says, I got the source, right? Like, I can go straight to the source. And I'm like, cool. So we did. We went straight to the source. 200% certified pure organic or Argan oil, right? It's the most pure, and it's blessed and everything else. So we found it. It was awesome. So we started doing the math. And again, this time we were going to focus it on Amazon because that was our first product launch category as we built out the funnels and everything else. So the product price here, we did the math and everything. It was going to be about $7. Was this for a 4 ounce? Yeah. Okay, for 4 ounce. Okay. Inbound shipping and handling from the manufacturer from Morocco was going to be $250. We found out there that transshipping that way is a lot more expensive as well because it's not as trafficked as some of the, like China, Indonesia, some of the other areas. Customs and duties was 45 cents per item. Merchant fulfillment fees, this was with Amazon, was $5.86. So that's also their fulfillment cost, right? So if this was just merchant fees on Stripe, it would be 2.8% plus, or 2.9% plus 30 cents. But Amazon is basically, on average, 20% of your sale price, right? So the total unit cost was $15.81. So we figured with our 200% pure, we could sell for $21.95, which was actually at the high end of the Argan oil market at the time. Our gross profit would have been $6.14, meaning that our gross margin would have been 27%. Well, that doesn't work, because that's where I want my net to be. I'm like, oh, run, right? Well, I didn't run because it was a deal, and I'm like, all right, we can make this work, and I'm trying to figure it out, and I spent all this freaking time because I didn't want to hurt Adil's feelings, and then finally I'm like, no. I had to just say no, because the other side of it was the minimum order quantity required to place the initial order was at least 2,000 units. Okay, so that was going to cost us $14,000 in the initial order quantity. Now, our desired monthly big at this time was $40,000. I was not going to move into a new product if it didn't make me $40,000 in gross sales a month. It wasn't worth my time. I didn't want to touch it, okay, because I knew I could scale it from there. So we used $40,000 as our base pricing, as our base big business income goal. Now, working backwards, in order to hit that number, I would have to sell 6,515 units. Okay, meaning that my initial capital outlay to sell 6,500 units to make $40,000 would be $64,000. Does this just keep getting better or worse, right? Yeah, what's the deal, right? I thought you had the source. So, but you know what? How many people actually do this? Not many. You guys do now, because I gave it to you guys, but nobody else does. All right, so, but now I know, I'm like, man. Now, the other thing is, I may not, if I hadn't had a business income goal or a number that I wanted to hit, I wouldn't even know that part. I would just say, oh, okay, my MOQ is going to be $14,000. That's cool, plus shipping. But because you don't take that next step to extrapolate where you're actually trying to get, you're never going to realize that you're spending 64 grand to make 40 on the best case scenario, right? Because $21.95 was a high price on Amazon at that time. Now, if we took it over to our funnel, we knew we could get higher, but still, if the metrics aren't working here, it's not automatically all of a sudden going to jump to 50% margin, right? That's not going to happen. All right. So I told him no. And I'm going to give you another example. So I keep saying gun accessory example, but I don't know why I keep trying to hide it since I keep saying rifle sights. Like, you guys all know what this product is, but it's like, oh, his gun accessory. And then it's like, hey, here's my rifle sight. So this is the rifle sights. No longer hidden. Not hidden. I put it in a magazine. I don't know how hidden it can be. So example metrics for this gun accessory that you don't know what it is. Okay, the product price, $14.55. Our volume has gone up significantly since this. So my actual cost now is around $11.80 a unit, which you guys are going to love when you see the other side of it. So inbound shipping and handling, $2.91. Customs and duties, 71 cents. Merchant and fulfillment fees through Amazon, $14.58. I'm using Amazon here again to stay consistent so we're on the same example because we're going to look at evaluating both right now. Total unit cost is $32.75. Okay? The retail price point, $79.95. Our gross profit on this, $47.20, with a gross margin of 59%. Does this look a little bit better? Now, yeah, it's a big difference in price point. It's a more expensive product, things like that. But it's not just that. I found a better category, right? I found a better market and everything else. The other thing was the MOQ was only 1,000 pieces. So the minimum order quantity was only 1,000. So it's going to cost me $14.5 to get. The same monthly income goal of $40,000 to keep the example consistent means I only had to sell 848 units to hit $40,000 in sales, right? Meaning my capital outlay to hit that is only $15,480. Now, why is the capital outlay so high? Because I'm only selling 848? Because I can't buy 848 units. I still have to buy the minimum order quantity. So technically, I'll have some units left over after hitting the goal, right? So it's still going to cost me more. So what sounds better? 65K to hit 40 or 15K to hit 40? 15K, right? Okay, so this product, the metrics worked, right? So this product was worth, just on Amazon alone, about $1.8 million a year in my pocket. Okay? Until Amazon bought out my manufacturer and went and started competing with me. Even though I designed the product. But Amazon doesn't care, China doesn't care. Amazon wrote a check, they own the manufacturer. So, and that's why you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Now, do I still sell this product? Hell yeah, still sell a ton of them, just not through Amazon. Amazon pretends they're me now on Amazon. So, yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but still, this was a completely hands-free income stream for the time. So I'm not knocking it. I loved it. I still love it. I still sell on Amazon, but it's definitely not my primary sales channel. The same thing though, I can sell this product for more off Amazon. I do. We sell it for anywhere between 140 on down to about this price. At the cheapest we've ever sold it is like 69 bucks. I think that's actually what Amazon is selling them for right now. It's about 60 bucks. And their unit cost is cheaper because they bought the entire manufacturer. I had to go to Japan and find a new manufacturer who's actually a better manufacturer, but I can keep selling my product. So, and guys, when I tell you that story, I'm not the only one. That's what Amazon does. They use FBA sellers as their market research, and then they come in and take them out and take over their product categories. They did it to a deal. They've done it to a ton. There's class action lawsuits stacking up right now. So if you are an Amazon seller, I'm not saying stop. And if you're not an Amazon seller, you should be, because it's a great income stream, but it's not a business. You're playing in someone else's backyard and someone who doesn't respect you or care about you and will take you out. But you should definitely soak up that money when you can. And it can be a great way, and I'll show you how to leverage it later, okay? So, enough doom and gloom. Beating that horse dead was that you needed to have your marketing metrics mapped out. and how you compare a bad product versus a good product. Make sense? Okay, so you don't want to advance that weak product. You know, your phase 1 and 2 should have eliminated most of these products for you. Okay, they eliminate most of them. They're gone. The ones that are left go through this next phase. Phase 3 should help you think longer term about the products that are left. But if something there doesn't fit, then those products get eliminated. Phase 4 will show you the numbers of a worst case scenario. Don't run a best case scenario of your numbers. Nothing ever happens that way in life. Run it as a worst case. If you can still make money worst case, you can live. You're good, okay? Put your best foot forward with the product that you're going to advance. Because at this point, you have to start spending money to test and market and develop and see what's going to work. Why would you want to go spend a bunch of money before you actually, if you could do all of this legwork before that doesn't cost you anything? And a lot of it could be outsourced to a VA, right? You don't actually have to do all of this. You could outsource it or have a team member do it and then just, you know, review the data. But this would save you a lot of money, and it will save you a lot of money. If you're not confident with any of the products, stop, go back, start over. It's better to do that than to advance a weak product.
Okay, now that you know how to find products and what to look for in a product, let's go ahead and jump into a couple examples. I'm actually going to take you through a deep dive case study in this video right here. Hop over to this video and see a case study of an actual product that we brought to market. All right? Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on all the notifications so that you don't miss any of the new videos that we release. All right, see you in the case study video.